could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here. Hello, everyone. Today I'm meeting Annie Delre. She is a health and wellness coach. Hello, Annie. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you. So let's start our conversation by diving into your journey of becoming the person you are today. What led you to discover your true passion in life? How did it start for you?
I think number one, growing up in a dysfunctional family, which is very common, so I don't want to act like I'm alone in this struggle. And I have five other siblings, so there's six of us, and that's a lot of personalities to be in one house, six children and two adults. So it got me very interested in studying human behavior. Why are we doing this? How can we all be in the same environment and have such different experiences? And that led me to study psychology. And then I realized I don't think I want to work in therapy. And I discovered coaching and I was like, oh, this is what I want, because there's a difference between the two. And I think often people don't understand that. But once I learned there was a difference, I was like, coaching, yes.
Oh, yeah. So it kind of like one thing led to another, and you discovered for yourself that this is something you want to do in your life. And
Hmm.
a lot of people struggling with processing their emotions nowadays. I feel like there are a lot of distraction that we are looking into in terms of like either addiction or it could be social media, it could be TV, eating, binging, anything you name it. But the reason is for because people don't know how to process their emotions. And sometimes we need somebody to help us go through that challenge in life. And we need to understand that without us making time for ourselves and investing in our own health and well-being, you know,
Hmm.
everything reflects back to our personal, professional life, our interaction with others as well. And a lot of people don't understand how important that is. I just want you to elaborate more on the essential part of making ourselves mentally, emotionally healthy, because I
Hmm.
think physical becomes like as a result of it.
Beautiful. Yeah. Um, that's a great point. You hit the nail on the head that your mental health is going to affect your physical health. So to just address one area doesn't make sense. But starting with your mental health is, I don't want to say is the game plan, but should be the game plan. Like that is definitely something to address first. And I think something that would solve this, or I should say help with this, is having a good support system, having healthy people around you. So there's either like having a great supports or having a support system, having a bad support system, a toxic people, and then having none at all. And sometimes it's better to have none at all than it is to be around toxic people. So, always broke, always unhealthy, always negative, doesn't have anything good to say, very doom and gloom. Well, no wonder you're not excelling because you're spending time with people that are kind of like pulling you back from that self growth. Something I like to say is find your cheerleaders. Who are your fans? Family and friends, ideally, some coworkers potentially. Having those people that are going to be kind to you on the days that you're not kind to yourself or others aren't being kind to you.
Yeah, that's very important because it depends, who we listen to on a daily basis, because that's energy that we allow ourselves to absorb without us even realizing it. And it affects the way we function. So, like I say, something runs on the background and you don't even know that it's running your life. And without
Yes.
you becoming mindful and recognizing those thoughts that you entertain which triggers emotions, drive your decision in life, right? That becomes who you are in the end. And if you're not, in a state where you can catch and recognize and maybe understand that this is not the thought that you want to entertain. Maybe it served at some point, but now it's time to let it go. Nothing change because it starts within you. We first have to establish this connection with who we are and understand what really drives our decision and why we feel in this way. And becoming mindful is a practice. What do you think will help people to become more present and really see more clear of what's going on in their mind?
Something that I'll do with, I mean, there's a billion answers to that question. Just know that there's like so many answers to that. But something that I will really help people with clarity, the idea of clarity, is getting clear on your values. So it's one of the very first things I do with clients is identify their values. And a lot of people at first think that this is an activity that you can just skip over. But it is so very important to identify those top 3 to 5 values, even your top one, so that now you can build self-awareness around all areas of your life. So for example, do you value loyalty, but you are with a partner that has cheated on you or continuously cheated on you? Well, no wonder you're not at ease because you are going against one of your values. Do you value trustworthiness and or let me say like value respect, but you're around a boss that talks down to you every day and embarrasses you in meetings? Well, you value respect and you're around someone who actively disrespects you. This is why you don't feel good. But you may not have identified the root, such as, well, this is going against one of my values.
Yeah, definitely. And we don't know sometimes why we feel in this way. I feel like we need to give ourselves time and question and sometimes even writing down, like in a journaling, reflecting and really like asking and understanding the root of the cause of that feeling, right? Because then we know what we're dealing with and how we can fix it and what could help us to release that. Because I believe we just need to find a way to process that thought and emotion and just let it go. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I believe the phrase you used is like, to see what are we doing? Because that's right. What are we doing? What behavior are we doing? What thoughts are coming up? You can't really question something if you don't even know what you're questioning.
Yeah.
So you don't know if you don't know. But if you do digging, it may help. So, okay, how am I feeling? I'm feeling really angry because my boss said this to me. All right. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. What are you? Actually, I'm surprised. Okay, are you really surprised? Well, actually, I'm really sad. I'm sad that they did that to me. I'm feeling shame and sadness. Well, first you started with anger, and that's a lot different emotion than sadness and shame. So, okay, why are you feeling shame? Well, I embarrassed myself. Why is it embarrassing? I said the wrong answer. What does it mean if you say the wrong answer? Well, that I'm an idiot. Are you an idiot? And sometimes if I'm coaching them for a while, I'll be like, because idiots don't do blank, blank, blank. And I say some of their accomplishments. So having them dig, well, do you often feel like an idiot? Well, my dad called me an idiot growing up all the time. Okay, well, now we see your boss was very triggering in this moment. And now we can explore some things. And one of the things could be explored. Do you want to work in an environment with a boss that makes you feel this way?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes whatever we see on the surface, it's not really the reason of our emotional state. And we need to dig deeper and see for where it came from. And a lot of times it's coming from the way we've been raised, maybe from our childhood or certain traumas that we experience in life. And maybe we're still kind of like stuck and reliving that type of past in a way, and not allow ourselves to move forward. And also, those type of triggers, I think is just like indicator for us to understand that something needs to be worked on. We don't need to judge ourselves or
Mm,
feel shame or guilt around it, but we have to understand what is that and how can we release it, and who can help me with releasing that if I cannot process it myself. But just be curious about what that emotion is and why are you being triggered, and really like dig deeper and understand what that is, because that also will open up more opportunities in the end when you become free of it, right?
uh,
Nothing will trigger you anymore. Doesn't matter what the situation is, because it could be wrapped up in a different scenario, but it could trigger the same emotion, right? So without you
mm-hmm.
avoiding it, you have to understand what that is, because then you're free and nothing will trigger it anymore. Doesn't matter what it is. And you have to become that in control of what you think and how you feel, and knowing what that is, because it really gives you more, like more feeling of well-being, and you can accomplish anything, and nothing will really stop you and be in your way. And I feel like this is very important area for people to focus on, because again, nowadays everybody is stressed, anxious. They go into work, they come back home, and they don't really dedicate time to themselves to think, to question, to really like reflect on what's happening. And it's becoming a problem when it piles up, because then it could become a scenario when everything like bursts in a situation you don't want to. And I feel like it has to be a practice for us to process those emotions on a daily basis regularly. And we have to
Mm-hmm.
prioritize our health enough to do it. Everything comes back to feeling our self-worth in the end. Because if we don't feel like we're worthy of having that type of state where we feel like well-being in
Mm.
every single way, mentally, emotionally, we have to really like feel that we deserve of having that peace. Because if we don't feel and we don't believe it, and that's what's important, how we think about ourselves, not other people's opinion of us. That doesn't matter.
Mm.
Because a lot of people are scared of what that person could think of me, but what do you really think about yourself? That's the most important question. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's so true. Be your own best friend first. Don't look for that external motivation, find the internal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is the first step is self-worth. Uh, um, Identifying where you're not feeling worthy, I guess, or identify again that idea of self-awareness, building on that. And it's as if people who don't want to spend time with themselves always have to be doing. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's a red flag because that means you don't like yourself enough to be alone with yourself. You don't like yourself enough to sit with your thoughts, and it's not good if that's the way you feel. You should be your own best friend. You should love yourself. You should want to be alone with your thoughts. You should think you're brilliant because we all have we all have, ooh, just shook everything. um we all have access to brilliant thoughts. It's whether we're allowing our brain to be open to them or not. So but what is the word? I'm having trouble with some word retrieval, but as opposed to trying to shut off your thoughts by yourself. And what I mean by that is like what social media, scrolling, taking in news, especially negative news, or news that's not vetted. So for example, like scrolling and reading these headlines doesn't mean those headlines are true.
Yeah.
And because we're scrolling endlessly, we're most people at least are not clicking off to read the whole article to see if it's true, to see who wrote it, and all those other steps. So we're taking in all this news, whether it's true or not. We're having a ton of strong emotions. We're worried about what the girl from high school is doing, right? But we're not sitting there to think, I really need 500 extra dollars this month, or because I know blank is coming up. I know taxes are coming up. How am I going to save for the next 3 months? Okay, let me sit with this thought for a minute. It's getting a part-time job. All right, what can I do? I'm actually a great seamstress. I'm going to do that. Like, but you're not sitting alone with your thoughts. What you're doing is scrolling and comparing yourself to someone, getting in a tizzy, and you're not in solution focused mode. You're in like taking in other people's, I don't want to say crap because that's not nice, but like you're taking in other people's lives. You're not living your own.
Right. And you always compare yourself. And I think when we're in that state of comparison, we either feel inferior or superior to others. But
Ooh, yes.
no, and that's a bad place to be because you are unique with your own gifts, talents, abilities, and it's not really comparable. So you don't have to feel this way, and it doesn't matter what they do. It's their journey. You should focus on your own and just be, really present with what you do and how you're spending your time, how you're choosing to manage your time on a daily basis, how
Mm-hmm.
you dedicate time towards your mental and physical health. That's what's important. And it will give you that energy, motivation, everything that you need to accomplish your own goals. And with you having that vision for yourself and staying on, being committed to it, being consistent with your action, being honest with yourself, how you feel,
Yes.
what you say to yourself, I think that's what we should be focusing on. Like knowing, okay, this is, I know social media, we can't get away with it because everybody has smartphone, but understanding that it has nothing to do with me. Okay, and you can be happy for that person. If that person accomplished something, that means it's an evidence for you that you can also do it. Why should you feel jealous or compare yourself, right?
Right. No one else has had every single life experience as you have. No one else in this world. You can have a twin, identical twin. You're not conjoined twins. You didn't have every second together. And even if you did, you're two separate people with two separate thoughts. So someone saying something can be triggering to one person and the other person's like, that's hilarious, right? And you're like, this is such different opinions. So um something, and maybe I'm like jumping around here with this, but a quote I have is, you're the only person that has ever woken up with you every single day and gone to bed with you every single night. Yes, we do the crib. Yes, we sleep in our parents' room sometimes. Yes, we have a partner sometimes or a roommate, but that's not every single day of your life. So back to the idea of like, you should probably love yourself. You spend a lot of time with yourself.
Yes. And also, we don't need to prove our self-worth to anybody, even to ourselves, by just being here. You know, that's it. We need to know that every one of us are worthy, but just by being here and
Mm-hmm.
accepting that as a fact without trying to compete or, look for some kind of external validation or prove our self-worthiness. It's just waste of time, but rather use that energy and build something of your own. I think that's more important, more effective way of doing it.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess this is what I was kind of saying in the beginning. It doesn't mean you can't ask for help. Like it doesn't mean you have to do this all alone, but unfortunately what it comes down to is the hard work is something only you can do. Learn from other people, get accountability partners, get educated, whatever that means. And that doesn't mean go get a degree. Go take a free online course. Go to the library and get a book. You don't even have to buy a book. Libraries allow you free audiobook downloads as well. So you don't even have to go to the library. Like there's so many things and resources that we're not taking advantage of.
Yes, and all those tools, resources available to us, especially with this online world we live in, it's better utilize it for our own benefit, right? A lot of books we can just download or like Kindle, whatever, audiobook. And
Mm-hmm.
we should feed ourselves with a positive information, energy through different sources. Whatever we listen, whoever we speaking to, whatever we listen to, whatever we're reading, everything should come, should be the same kind of intention, is to grow ourselves, to make sure that it helps in our own self-development, not bringing us down or making us feel sad. What's the point of those negative news that we're reading, right? Even
Right.
considering that it could even not be true, that's like another layer of it. You can't trust what's coming in, through your senses, but
Mm-hmm.
you know that you can trust yourself and you can make sure that you give yourself the best and you are in control of that. If you know that you're responsible for your own life, you're the person who can give yourself the best. You should be your own cheerleader. Nobody else will come and save you.
Right. And and that's also what I try to do a mindset shift with clients is, and that's the good news. This is great news. This is empowering because guess what? You can change it. You got yourself, I'm sorry to say, you got yourself in this circumstance. But I'm also here to tell you this awesome game-changing news that you're the one that can fix it. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that empowering? And allowing them to see like this isn't me putting you down to say you're the cause of your problems. This is actually, let's flip it. This is great. We discovered something today. You can fix it. Happy to hold your hand for this part of your journey. But another thing I tell my clients is I don't want to sign over 3 months with someone because I don't want to work with my clients forever, maybe in portions. But the reason I say that is because that means I didn't do my job of empowering you and giving you the tools to excel without me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, to help so people can advance, not for me to hold their hand for the rest of their life. That's that's crippling people. That's not fair. So, yeah, that's something I do.
Yeah, you cannot help somebody if that person becomes dependent on you for the rest of their lives. And that also, I feel like it's also the way of parenting too. Like when you have a child, you want to equip that child with everything so they could be independent people on their own. And that comes with the same with the clients and people who we want to help is, yes, you want to show them what's possible. You want to make sure they have access to what they need on their own and knowing
Mm-hmm.
that they can support themselves, they can encourage themselves and help themselves grow. And sometimes people get lost and they just need some clarity, right? But all the answers are within us, every one of us. And what we need to actually look inward, to find those answers. And for you to really like establish that connection and relationship with yourself, find your true authentic self, and being able to speak up and have your voice and knowing that you're important,
Mm-hmm.
that's very encouraging. And then you see how your self-confidence grows as a result of it. Because a lot of times people feel like, I can't do something. They kind of like talk themselves out of accomplishing their own goals in life. But we just need to them to kind of understand that you can do anything. The only thing why you believe in that is your own self-talk. It maybe you came to this point where you started to believe in that, but why, you have that belief in the first place? If only you can see for what it is and, maybe change it with a different belief that will serve you, you will see
Mm-hmm.
yourself just becoming a different person and knowing that everything that you need in life is provided for you. You have all the tools, and you need to really like take action and see, once you take those steps toward your direction in life, you will see how opportunities open up for you. Right people come to your life. Sometimes it unfolds in a way that we even, we don't expect. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
even we're gonna get something more of life that we envision for ourselves, but we don't know that. But without us making any action, we're not gonna find, because that's what we should do. Like, this is our role in the whole process, and we need to trust that process, knowing that all the answers is with us, and we have that access to wisdom, internal wisdom, but we just need to establish that relationship. And if that means that you need a help of somebody else for like temporary period of time, that's okay. But then you can just go off with your journey on your own, knowing that you have everything.
Yeah, and you used the key phrase, take action. That is the answer. Take action. Forward movement, solution focused. This is what we that's why coaching is beautiful and different than therapy. Therapy is talking about the past and coping with the present. You are processing and healing from the past. Coaching is what's going on now. Okay, fine. All we care about is the future. We need to know what's going on. Look, peeking at the past helps, but we're not staying there. We're
Mhm.
not here to just talk it, talk, talk, talk. We're here to find solutions and then move forward. So it is really exciting when people are ready to do that. When they're just like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I don't want to act like this anymore. Like, I need to do the next steps.
Right, but we have to come to this realization that we are sick and tired of being where we are, and taking responsibility from right now. Doesn't matter what, where we at right now. Doesn't matter. At any point of life you can change, but the only thing is important is to make that decision for yourself and being committed to the process, and knowing that it will take time. Don't expect overnight result, but eventually you will get there. And with your dedication and commitment to the process, that's where it starts, because you have to show up for yourself first before you
Mm-hmm.
can give anything to others.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. And that's why free things are great. They really are. But something such as investing in coaching, and I mean this for anything, I mean this for a physical trainer, like it's not like a plug just to work with me, but putting money into it because you are investing that energy exchange. You are putting money on yourself. You're betting on yourself. Like I remember my parents told me they're not paying for my school. It was up to me. So I took out loans, and that's really scary, but I was investing in myself. I believed in my success. I believed in success before I had it. So people who are trying to get their health on track, invest in that nutritionist, invest in that personal trainer, invest in the massage therapist if that means it's going to make you feel better.
Mhm. Yes, and like you said, before we even see the result, we have to believe in it,
Mm,
because usually the other way around, once we start believing, then we're going to see it. And a lot of people want to see the evidence first before taking a risk.
mm-hmm.
But that backwards. You're never gonna take that risk. If you
Mm.
think you're gonna fail from the beginning, what's the point then?
Yeah, I think it was Bob Proctor or maybe Napoleon Hill who said it takes just as much energy to have fear than it takes just as much. Okay, wait. It takes just as much energy to have faith than fear as it does fear. So either what are you choosing, the faith part or the fear? And you can sit in either one that you want, but I think we both know what the best option is.
Of course, yes, and it's always your choice. You are presented with choice every single day, a
Yeah.
lot of times a day. And, you know, you can always have the opportunity to choose differently. You're not defined by your action in the past. You know, you have to accept the reality as it is for you and know that you're in control to change anything that you have in life. Because if that's of your own creation,
Mm.
then you are responsible for it and you can change it. And like you said, it's a good news. I'm not trying to scare
Yeah.
people, you know. A lot of times the word responsibility, it's very heavy on somebody, you know?
Yes.
But it should be good news. That means no one else could affect my decision but myself. Isn't that great?
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
And we can find ourselves in a different place a year from today if only we stayed on track, believed in ourselves, had that faith, and focused the energy and channel it into the right direction and being consistent with our action every single day, investing
Mm-hmm.
in our mental, physical health, feeding ourselves with the positivity, you know, and then we'll see
Yeah.
ourselves flourish. And I feel like a lot of times people think it's just, you know, when people talk about it, it's just motivational speech and they don't really believe in that. But that's why I'm saying that you have to experience that for yourself. This is how you
Mm-hmm.
learn. Without you doing, the action part is important, not just talking about it, not just visualizing, but really taking action. But you have to have that belief and faith because that's what drives you too. You know, if you are expecting to see the result first, you're not going to try, you're not going to take that risk, but you have to know that it's possible. Because if you see a lot of people going through the same thing and they accomplish something, right? Rather than feeling jealous, like I said, you just have to see that that is the evidence for you that you can do it too, right? You should flip it.
Yeah.
You should change your perspective.
Definitely. Definitely. It's not that out of reach. You want to do an independent movie? Google successful independent movie producers.
Right.
You want to do good on Spotify? You look up how to be successful on Spotify. Who's the top people on Spotify? Then you go look for them and you see what are they doing. Or you look up the article, things I wish I knew before I self-published on Amazon. You want to be an
Mhm.
author. Okay, well, that's going to tell you where to start. They're already telling you the mistakes. You're going to cut that part out. Look, this is even better. And um, but guess what? Someone's not going to write your book for you. Maybe Chat GPT, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good, and that doesn't mean it's coming from you. So um, again, this idea of empowerment, like, hey, you got to start somewhere. Start on Google. Start asking questions. Get your brain going, flowing. See what you like and don't like. Maybe there's things you're seeing that you're like, I would never do things that way. Okay, then do the opposite.
Definitely. But you have to start somewhere. And first, you have to be honest with who you are, where you want to be, what is your vision for yourself, what makes you really feel that joy and fulfillment. So I always have to, you know, remind people who, you know, the reason why you're doing what you're doing, how are you feeling doing that job? Is it really what you want to do in life for the rest of your life, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
to ask those questions because otherwise nothing will change. If we continue doing the same habits every single day, it will be the same 50 years from today. And again, depending where you're at, if you do like what you have, maybe it's working for you. If you don't like, you're the one who can change it. And I'm so glad that we brought very important ideas today. And thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and wisdom. For those who would like to connect with you, how can they find you?
They can go right to my website. It's coach-annie.com. Again, coach-annie.com, and that's ANNIE, and they can contact me there. It's a really easy way.
Nice. I'm going to also include a link in show notes as well. And as we're closing, what would you say for people as a thought for today?
It's something we just hit on, but the idea of nothing changes if nothing changes.
Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy your day.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.